Stunt Derby was one of my favorite demos I checked out during the Steam Next Fest. I chose the option of having 100 other racers on the track. It was complete chaos and I loved every minute of it. The tracks have physics objects and debris, ramps, jumps, traffic jams, and you can also get creative and make your own tracks. These 100-player races feel like an exciting fight for survival, similar to Wreckfest, with the trade-off being simplified graphics for more racers on screen, which I think is where Stunt Derby really shines. There are AI or PvP races plus different game modes to choose from. I gotta admit, guys, I had a few drinks before I got behind the wheel in Stunt Derby. Now, you don't do this in real life ever. Don't ever do it. It's too dangerous. As you can see, I caused a few wrecks here in the game, so never drink and drive unless you're playing Stunt Derby or other racing games. And it can be pretty fun, let me tell you. Where else other than video games can you get behind the wheel after having a few? So anywho, that's probably why I'm a little bit swerving here on the road here and there, and I'm getting used to the game. This is the first time I was playing it. It was during the Steam Next Fest, during the whole demo releases that were dropping on Steam. Then I picked up a Stunt Derby here. Now, I don't know how much this will cost when it comes out. If I had to guess, this is a low poly kind of simplified looking game, but there's a whole lot to it under the hood, if you will. There's, like I said, 100 up to 100 other racers. Not a whole lot of racing games can do that. Wreckfest, their detailed damage is too much. You got to have that trade-off, like I was saying. So I think you're going to see maybe a $10 price tag or less, 10 to 15 maybe at the most. Battle Bit remastered. That's a very deep FPS shooter actually, but the graphics are similar to Stunt Derby here, and that game was $15. So I don't see this being any more than $15. I'll be very surprised if it is, unless they just add so many features and this and that by the time this thing releases. But is this supposed to maybe come out when? Now, I think it just says coming soon. They don't know when this thing's going to release. They're still working on it, and you can get in there, I think, early access through their Patreon, the Noclip Patreon, and you can get early access, and they have little play dates that they play PvP together and everything. I was playing against AI here because I wanted to make sure I had 100 other racers in there with me. I really think they're onto something here. It reminded me of Wreckfest, the chaos, the debris, and the physics objects flying and bouncing off of one another, and the cars flipping. And you really gotta, just to get across the finish line, it takes a whole lot of strategy, really, and defensive driving as well as offensive driving. I've never really played a racing game like this before with so many other cars on the screen, and that really, it's always something new, because when you got 100 cars bouncing around and jamming into each other, you never know what you're going to see. And then you throw in the physics objects with that. I think this is a recipe for success here. I love it. I found myself really not wanting to stop playing this. I was really invested, and even if I'm not coming in first every time, it's still fun because there's always something going on around every turn. You got cars flipping and flying over ramps, and the ramps are breaking, and you're trying to swerve around this obstacle. It's a very exciting racing game, and you can create your own tracks. Now, that's what I want to get into. If there's another demo or when this thing releases, I'm really going to want to pick this up if it ain't too much, and I don't think it will be. One of the developers there, Danny O'Dwyer of Noclip, he said he wants to make sure he keeps this cheap and gets people in the door no problem. So I have a feeling that I'm going to be picking this thing up. It's not going to be overpriced. I don't think they're going to try to price gouge us and charge $70 for less content than we're used to, like a lot of AAA studios are doing. Oh, I want to start making my own levels with this. I didn't get a chance to do that during this demo period. I had a lot of other things going on, a lot of other games I was trying to get to, but that's one thing I want to dive into when I get a chance to play this again. Now, you can upload your courses for other people to try out, and you can take them online and everything, host matches, and that's what it's a race, but it feels more like a match because you're just fighting for your life. It feels like, there's no damage, but you're just fighting to get across that finish line. It ain't easy, especially when you've had a few. Make sure you guys wish list this thing, man. It's got a bright future. I think there's one, maybe two devs at the most working on it, and they're doing a great job. The demo download was only a couple megabytes. I don't know how they did it, but they got PvP level editors and everything. I know the graphics are simplified, but that was like really super low on the memory there. So I think this developer that is working on it, he really knows what he's doing. He's on another level in a lot of ways. He seems like a genius type of dude. So you mix that with a good idea man, like I believe Danny O'Dwyer is. It seems like they're keeping it simple with this title. I like that. They're keeping the graphics simple. The gameplays, they're not trying to do too much. They're really perfecting, taking it step by step, perfecting each step along the way. If you just keep it simple but put the right ingredients in, the end result is something magnificent, and I think that's what we have here with Stunt Derby. Why not play other racing games? Like I said, this 100 other racers is really something special. I think that's where this game, like I said, shines, and they need to really lean into this chaos of the 100 players, and with all the other physics objects and jumps and everything. The chaos is the beauty of this game for sure. So I hope they lean into that some more, and I think they know what they have on their hands here. I think it's a winner. I'm going to try to bring more content to you and more info on it as it drops, as far as the release date and updates and upgrades and the whole development process. I want to keep my eye on this one for sure. You can customize your car a little bit. I think they're going to expand upon that. They're going to expand upon the level editor probably by the time this thing releases, and they're going to expand on the game modes as well. There's a few different game modes in this thing already, alright? Ain't just racing and who comes in first. There's about 2 other game modes too. There's like a relay game mode, and what's the other one? I'd also like to see like an actual, some sort of destruction derby. I know there's no damage in this game, but derby is in the title, and that makes me think of destruction derby, and with the destruction of all the physics objects and the ramps and everything, something a little bit more open-ended where you're kind of just, instead of going on a track, through each checkpoint, kind of just leave it open like a destruction derby with other goals that you have to accomplish. I wonder if I could pull that off somehow with this map editor. I don't know. I gotta get in there and see what I can do, but that's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm really having a whole lot of fun. Just look at the footage here. It speaks for itself. Until next time, this has been Rusty Pfluger. Rusty Pfluger, over and out.